Peace and blessings, y'all. This is Ubria, and I'm back with another video. I want to talk to you all about a few things. I want to talk to you about twin flames, tarot, and the movie Forrest Gump, because I was watching it the other day and I was just struck by the fact that it's low-key about the twin flame journey. That scene where Forrest Gump is running and people start following him without knowing why they're following him, and then all of a sudden he realizes he doesn't want to run anymore and he turns around and goes home. That scene has actually been in my heart for over a year, and I couldn't figure out why, but it's like I finally understand the message, and I think it's because I in some ways was Forrest and I was running, but now I'm ready to turn around and go home and see what the next adventure is. But I'll get to that in a minute. And it was at 55 seconds right when I said that too. And the number 55 is about sudden changes. So yeah, that was nice. That was a nice little piece of synchronicity. Before I dig deep into the video, I just want to say thank you to my new subscribers. It's like 2 or 3 of y'all. Thank you. If you subscribe just from finding me off YouTube and you're not familiar with my classes or my deck or anything like that, I just would encourage you to visit my website, ubria.com, just to learn more about me and what I offer. And I also would just want to say thank you to those of you who have been giving me some thumbs up and commenting, because I can just get doubtful of myself and just not sure if I'm on YouTube just spouting my personal business or if it's actually helping somebody. So y'all comments have just been very um, purpose affirming for me, and I just really appreciate that. So thank you so much. Okay, so now down to the video. So first, I want to talk to y'all a little bit about the movie Forrest Gump. Um, and the twin flame journey. I know that most of us, let me just say, there's been this surge of spirituality and tarot reading and um, mysticism and the divine feminine, divine masculine, all these things we've been hearing. And dang, it was right at 2:20 and then 2:22 right when I said that. That's crazy. But there's just been like this explosion of those terms and ideologies lately, and these terms have always been around, I feel like, but lately it's just been more mainstream. And the North Node is in Gemini this year, which is the Lover's card, so it's like it feels like the entire collective is just kind of on this twin flame journey, whether it's to like unite with an actual twin or just to find their other half within themselves. But I feel like a lot of us who study tarot and have gotten deep into spirituality, it was kind of triggered through our twin, through like some sort of love relationship that just defied all fucking understanding and just kind of drove us a little bit insane. And spirituality, because I feel like religion didn't have the answers for this shit. Whatever we went through, that shit wasn't in the Bible. But I feel like spirituality has been kind of a saving grace for our sanity. So the people that I'm talking to, I feel like are people who probably either know who their twin is, or even if they found out it wasn't their actual twin, they've realized maybe it was a karmic twin. Whatever the case is, y'all know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this video probably isn't for you. But that's why I specifically put twin flames in the title, because if you know, if you know, then you know. Okay. So if you look back at the movie Forrest Gump, it's clear as day that Forrest and Jenny were twin flames. One indicator of your twin is gonna be the fact that y'all are different from each other and also exactly the same. It's like like Forrest said, me and Jenny was like peas and carrots, right? I'll give you an example. Jenny was she was an abused child, right? If you look back at the movie, there's because she doesn't outright tell Forrest what's going on with her at home. Um, and I feel like that has happened to us with our twins too. Like they have a difficult past or a difficult childhood, and maybe you've known them from childhood. Me particularly, I've known my twin since we were. I met him on my 14th birthday, so that's a lot of years at this point. I have known him from childhood, but it was still certain things. With twins, it'll be certain things that happen in their past that they don't necessarily tell you about, but you can tell from what they do say or how they do act that there's just a very deep wound, a deep childhood wound. So as far as Jenny, she was being abused in her home sexually by her dad. He was an alcoholic, and she was very isolated at home. However, she was very beautiful and very uh she was beautiful inside and out. So she was accepted in the world. She was also very smart. So it's like she was isolated and abused at home, but she was accepted in the world. Forrest was exactly the opposite. He was loved and appreciated at home. And he didn't just have his mama who loved him and appreciated him at home, but his mama had people who helped her because she had a boarding house. So it was always people coming and going in his house. So he always had people that he could kind of talk to and just deal with outside of his immediate family. Jenny did not have any of that. It was just her dad, and I think maybe a sister. But she was just very like isolated. I just keep saying that. So Jenny was isolated at home but accepted in the world. Forrest was the opposite. He was accepted and embraced at home, but then when he would go out into the world, people would call him stupid. They would call him crippled, because his legs, when he first grew up, his legs didn't work and his spine was messed up. So he had all these physical challenges that Jenny did not have, but she had all these mental and emotional challenges that Forrest did not have. You see what I'm saying? Peas and carrots. So she was damaged, right? And Forrest was different. You see what I'm saying? Peas and carrots. So whereas Jenny was made to feel very dirty and disgusting by the things that her father used to do to her, Forrest was always made to feel very pure. In fact, too pure, because people treated him like a fucking idiot. They treated him like he was naive. His mama just like he said, mama always had a way of explaining things to me so that I could understand. You had to kind of like give Forrest like the purer, more simple explanation of things. So he had a very, I would say, rose-colored view of the world, which is a lot of us in this spiritual community. People have maybe called you naive. People have maybe said you're stupid because you might be like a very loving, trusting person despite all the things that people have done to you. You know what I mean? Almost, and it's too like people could be hella shady and maybe you don't even pick up on it. Maybe you didn't really pick up on sarcasm because you're probably not like that. So it's like it's hard for you to imagine that people would just be mean to you for no reason because you're not like that. And that's how Forrest was. Jenny, on the other hand, was made to feel she was like very aware of just the worst part of human nature from a very young age. So that kind of tainted her view of love, of life, of people's intentions, of everything. And so it's like to Jenny, Forrest was the pure thing in the world, and to Forrest, Jenny was the world thing in the pure. You see what I'm saying? Because she was the one who went out into the world, and she was the one got kicked out of college for posing naked in Playboy. She was the one who let him touch her boob. She was the one who was dancing, not dancing, but singing naked on stage and kicking it with the Black Panthers and hitching rides and smoking weed. Like she just had this. She was worldly. Do you know what I mean? Like, and she was Forrest kind of only until he actually became a man and went out and discovered some of the world for himself. Uh, she was his only view into the carnal nature of the world, and Forrest was her only view of the purity of life. You see what I'm saying? Peas and carrots. Okay. Then wait, where am I going with this? Hold on, y'all. Let me collect my thoughts for a second. Uh oh, now when you are a twin flame, see, because the whole purpose of twin flames, we think that it's for union and we think it's so that we can be with our beloved because we love them so much. But actually, the real purpose of a twin flame is just to awaken the gifts that God put inside of you. That's what twins do. They awaken your own gifts. Um, Through interaction with them, somehow they pull out these little nuggets and treasures within you, and you pull out these little nuggets and treasures within them, because interaction with them helps you to discover that you are whole within yourself and that you're stronger within yourself than you ever thought that you were. It's like they are a catalyst towards your own divinity. But a lot of times you don't recognize that. So I'll give you an example. Jenny was very protective over Forrest, remember? So whereas she did not receive any protection at home, there was no one, there was no social services to come. Well, actually, no, that did happen when she got a little bit older. They did come and send her to live with her grandmother. But before that happened, she was just kind of alone and unprotected with her father. And she didn't have anyone to protect her, so it was like she wasn't able, even though she was the girl, it was like she was not able to relax into her feminine nature of being loved and treasured and protected and feeling like a pure divine expression of God's love. She didn't feel that. But Forrest always brought that out in her from the first time they met. Remember when he got on the school bus and nobody wanted to sit next to him, and he said he heard this little sweet voice that said, well, you can sit next to me. So it's like God gave uh, Forrest to Jenny because she needed somebody to love. She needed somebody to where she could express the pureness inside of her so that she would not drown in the dirty, disgusting things that her father had planned for her life. You see what I'm saying? And so in terms of Forrest, so it's like Jenny had this inner strength and this inner love that she did not know that she had, that she was able to express through Forrest. And Forrest was the exact opposite. He always knew that he had this inner strength and this inner love, and he was a very sweet person. Everybody knew that about him. But he did not know that he had any external strength. So there came a point where him and Jenny was walking home from school and people started bullying him and throwing rocks at him, and Jenny knew that she couldn't protect him. So what did she tell him? She triggered his own inner strength and she said, run, Forrest, run. And it's like, I feel like if anybody else had told Forrest to run, he would have said, I can't do it. But it was something about Jenny. It's something about when your twin sees something in you that you don't see in yourself, that it makes you say, well, damn it, if they see it, it must be there. It's like we trust our twins more than we trust the rest of the world. So if they tell us we can do something, we believe we can do it. So when Jenny told Forrest to run, he started running, and the damn leg braces just flew off his legs. And it was that running that really set his life into motion. So he had this external strength that he didn't know that he had, but then Jenny triggered him. That ability to run is what got him into college, remember? That ability to run is what got him all those medals when he was in the war. So, and then the fact that he went to the war is what got him doing ping pong. And the fact that he was doing ping pong is what got him that money. And the fact that he got the money allowed him to buy the shrimping boat. And then the fact that he bought the shrimping boat allowed him to become the Bubba Gump shrimping boat captain. And then he became a millionaire. And it was Jenny's advice to run that literally set his life into motion in a way that it never would have been otherwise. She blessed his whole life just by seeing that in him. Seeing that strength in him that nobody else saw in him. See what I'm saying? And the other thing about your twin flame is that they bring out things in you that you would not do for yourself. It's like Forrest, he ran. And also the other thing about Forrest, now remember he ran from those boys because they were throwing rocks at him, not rocks at Jenny. I want to ask y'all, what do y'all think y'all would have done if those boys had been throwing rocks at Jenny? Child, Forrest would have killed every one of them children. And I tell you it's true, because every time somebody did something wrong to Jenny, you would see Forrest just lose it. He had like this animalistic rage and protection that would come over him when it came to her. When that guy on stage was touching her, he mollywops his ass. When the dude, when he was waiting on her at her college after her date, and he saw that the guy in the car pushing up on her, and Jenny said, get off of me, he reached in the car and beat that dude's ass. When he was at the Black Panther party and he saw her boyfriend from Berkeley hit her, he whooped that dude's ass. It's like when it comes to Jenny, you cannot tell Forrest he is not a whole Hulk and a whole Superman. He becomes the manliest version of himself in order to protect her. And that is Forrest's nature. And that is the nature of a lot of us in the spiritual community, is that we allow our inner strengths and our gifts to shine when it comes to helping other people. I just saw 144 when I said that. But we don't do it necessarily when it comes to ourselves. We have to learn how to love and protect and cherish ourselves the same way that we do it for other people. And it was the reverse for Jenny. She had to learn how to love her. She had to learn how to love Forrest the way she was out here loving all these other men. But that's because her idea of love was extremely toxic. She thought love was supposed to hurt, and it was supposed to beat on you, and it was supposed to drink and fuck on you and give you diseases and just, sully you, make you disgusting. That's what she thought love was supposed to do, because that's what her father did. We can't help but love the way that we've been loved until we learn that that's not what love is, and then we learn to teach ourselves what love really is. So once again, it's like they're the inverse of each other, right? Peas and carrots. So I just want to say, like with Forrest, his strength would always shine when it comes to saving other people. That's how he saved Lieutenant Dan. That's how he got the medal, like running all those men back and forth out of the war. Um, and he even told Jenny when he tried to give her the medal, she said, "Why are you giving me this?" And he said, I got it by doing what you told me to do. He's still attributing his strength to his twin. And that's something that a lot of us was doing in this, in this twin flame journey, is that we only felt beautiful because our twin thought we were beautiful, or we only felt smart or desirable because our twin thought we were smart, or because our twin desired us. But this journey was ultimately to help us be able to discover that those things lied within us the whole time, and our twin could never have seen those things in us if they weren't already there. So I think there's a bit of a runner chaser dynamic too that I'm trying to talk about, because I think Jenny was the runner and Forrest was the chaser. And it's funny because Forrest was the runner, but he ran to chase Jenny. So with it, what I've learned just from looking at this movie too, and this is kind of giving me insight into my own twin, that it's helped me to forgive certain things, is that, remember Jenny, she had this really awful past that she didn't really like to talk about, but you could tell the way she expressed herself in love that she was like very damaged in her root. And a lot of us have this twin flame dynamic where there's one of us who's very pure and sweet and devoted and loving and spiritual, and then there's another one of us just out in the world being a horrible hoe, fucking on people, lying to people, stealing from people, just being like the most terrible version of themselves. And I feel like Jenny was being the most terrible version of herself, and she did not want Forrest to see her like that. So a lot of times where Forrest would think Jenny doesn't love me or Jenny doesn't want to be around me, it wasn't that. It was that she had to express her dysfunction. She had to get that out. And that's the only way you can heal your dysfunction is to express it, because first you have to look at it. But Forrest was the only person on earth who saw Jenny, who saw the heart of Jenny, who saw Jenny as pure, as just pure love. And she did not want to ruin that by overexposing him to her toxicity. So to him, it looked like rejection. But for her, she was protecting him in the only way that she knew how, which was to protect him from the truth of herself. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of our twins. We feel rejected. We feel like they don't love us. They don't fuck with us. They don't deal with us. We don't understand, like, what is it about me? Why is it that he'll fuck Susie, Jenny, Molly, Harry, Tamika, Dramika, all these other bitches, but don't have the time of day for you? And it's not necessarily that they think that these women are any better than you. They might hold you in their mind as like the true pedestal of femininity that they love and adore and damn near worship. But they don't want to fuck it up. They feel like they are the dirt and you are the pure, and they don't want to put their dirty ass on you. But they also don't want to tell you that that's the case, because you're the only person who doesn't see them like that. So if they was to tell you why they don't want to deal with you, then you would stop seeing them you would stop seeing like the pure light that's actually in them. And for a lot of our twins, the only way that they get through this dark night of the soul that they are going through or will go through is because they know that they have this light inside of them, and it's like they believe that light is there because you believe that it's there, because you believe in your twin and you love your twin. That helps them believe in and love themselves, even if they don't express that to you. So that's just something that I picked up from the movie. Okay, so where was I going with this? Okay, so now I want to talk about tarot a little bit. Okay, so there was a point in the movie where Jenny just got tired of being out in the world, and it's really crazy because it was this point that she was about to commit suicide. Remember that when she was dealing with that guy and she almost jumped off the roof, not the roof, but like they had this little balcony apartment or whatever, and she almost jumped. She almost jumped, and then she didn't. And then the movie cut to Forrest thinking about her on his boat. And it's like, I feel like maybe a lot of our twins have maybe come to the brink of just like self-loathing, hatred, suicide, things like that. But it's like they know that if they took themselves off the earth, it may only break one person's heart, and that would be our heart. And that's just something that they cannot do. That they, it's almost like they don't live for themselves anymore. They don't give a fuck about their own life, but they would not dare break our heart by succumbing to the pain that they feel and allowing it to take themselves out. And they may not express that to us. We may not know that our twins are having these suicidal moments because, like I said, they want to preserve whatever purity and goodness that you think about them. So then if they tell you that they want to kill themselves, then they'd have to tell you why. They'd have to tell you what they've been through. They'd have to tell you what happened to them. They'd have to tell you that they've happened to other people. All these things that they're not going to want to tell you because they feel like if they told you that you would not love them anymore. So but like I said, Jenny, she didn't kill herself, and then Forrest's mama died, and then he was at home by himself, and then Jenny came back to his house, and then he said me and Jenny was like peas and carrots again. A lot of us have had this with our twin where it's like we have first we don't have any communication for years, and then all of a sudden it seems like we're in regular communication and they're our best friend again, and everything feels beautiful, and we're thinking, okay, things are finally going to go the way we feel in our heart things always should have been, or if we're finally going to be together. And so Forrest had that moment in the movie, and then what did he do? He proposed. He asked Jenny to marry him, and then she said, I can't marry you, Forrest, because when she told him, you don't know what love is. And that's the first time we ever see Forrest get pissed at Jenny. And he didn't cuss her out, he didn't express his anger in the way excuse me, I have to cough. This must be too true because my throat is bothering me. Throat chakra. Fuck you, demon. I'm gonna tell my story. Okay, it's his first time getting pissed with her, right? And so you can see how he put his little hand on his hips. And oh, that's the other thing too. Remember, Jenny was the one who told Forrest to run, and then she bought him those running shoes. So he was wearing his brand new shoes that his boo had bought him, and so he's ready. He's ready to take off in his life. He's a millionaire at this point. He's in love with this woman who he's loved forever. He knows he can protect her. He knows he can provide for her. He is ready. He's ready to give it all to her. And then she tells him he don't know what love is. And he is literally pure love. That's all he is for Jenny, is love. And so that's when he got mad, because he kind of realized Jenny is kind of fucking dumb. Like, shit, how does she not see this love that's staring her in the face? So he said, I may not be a smart man, but I know what love is. And the subtext of that was, you dummy. Because you got love staring you right in the face, and you don't know what love is. And he's thinking, I've seen the kind of men that you lay down with that beat you and hurt you and abandon you and betray you, and you keep choosing these people over me. You are the one who doesn't know what love is. And he doesn't say any of that, but you could just see he's just thinking it, like, I know she did not come at me like that. So he goes to bed. And then Jenny comes to him in the middle of the night, and she says, I do love you, Forrest. And then she finally gives him what he thinks he's been wanting. And she expresses her love for him, but it is toxic, because that's the only way that she knows how to love. So where she had been keeping herself from him all these years and kind of keeping herself pure, she finally says, okay, well, let's get dirty. I mean, if you want my love, this is it. And so she makes love to him. And then I feel like after she made love to him, she realized that he would expect like a pure love. He would expect her to then be his wife and all these things that she wasn't ready for. She has this love cycle in her mind of like, sex and abandonment and toxicity. Um, and it's like when she makes love to him, she realizes that she really does love him and that she cannot get him dirty with her because she's not clean. She has not cleaned up her wounds, her psyche, herself. And you know, maybe she realizes, damn, like maybe we really do love each other, but if I really love Forrest, I need to get the hell away from him because I'm no good to him like this. And I feel like our twins have done that to us, where we finally think we're gonna have union and maybe we're intimate with them, right? And then they disappear. They abandon us or they push us away, and it leaves us with such, it just triggers all our confusion, all our abandonment issues, all these wounds that we think we've healed, and it's just like here they are at the surface, you know? And it's extremely painful. If that's happened to any of y'all, I'm so sorry, because I can 100,000,000,000% relate. And it is just the worst pain. It's the worst pain where you finally think that you're going to unite with the person that you love the most in the world. And when you open yourself up, it's like they look at the deepest part of you and you give them the deepest part of you and then they leave. It just makes you feel like just wide open and gross. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. So Jenny left. And Forrest woke up after they had been intimate, and you just see him going in every room. He stands in her bedroom for a second. He looks at her bedmate. She's not there. Um, he looks in the kitchen. She's not there. And then you see him sitting on the porch. She's not there. And he laces up his running shoes, and then he just starts running. And um he doesn't mean to run as far as he's running, you know what I mean? He runs all the way from Greenbow, Alabama, where he runs to the East Coast, to the Atlantic Ocean, and he runs to the Pacific Ocean, and he runs to the Atlantic Ocean, and he runs to the Pacific Ocean. Now, this part of the movie, this running, for me personally, I don't know if it's for y'all. To me personally, that has been tarot for me. That was my tarot journey. When I got so confused and bewildered by what was going on in my life with my feelings for my twin and me confessing them, and it also kind of coincided with my mother having cancer and then her dying and being homeless and just all these things. I just didn't know what was going on with my life, you know? And it was just like I was at the pinnacle of just confusion and self-loathing, and I literally couldn't take any more surprises. I couldn't. And the Bible doesn't tell you what's going to happen. It just tells you how to deal with what is happening. But I needed something to tell me what was going to happen because I just couldn't take no more surprises. I felt like I was going to lose my shit. I was Forrest. So me buying my first tarot deck was me lacing up them shoes, and me starting to do readings for other people and starting to do daily readings for myself. That was me running from one side of the country to the other. Me putting up my blog and my website. That was me running from one side of the country to the other, because I just needed to know what the fuck was going to happen. I needed to feel like I had some sort of control over something. And I feel like that's what tarot does for us. For the brokenhearted, it gives you some sort of warnings or some sort of clues about what to expect, because we are just so gentle and fragile and wounded that we literally cannot take another damn surprise, another heartbreak. So we start needing to see the snakes, the rats, the cats, and the dogs. Like, we need to see the people that don't really fuck with us. We need to see the people that say they're going to be there, but they're really not going to be there. We need to see do you know what I mean? It's like the people that we meet, we go home, like, oh, let me do a reading on this person. Okay. You know, does she really like me? Is he cheating on me? Is he telling the truth when he says X, Y, and Z? And it's like, you know what I mean? Because you just need to know. You just need to know. Because otherwise, you finna be either suicidal or homicidal, and ain't no fucking in between. And it's dangerous when you push a spiritual person to that level, because we have such a close relationship with the Most High that we almost don't mind going to heaven just to have a conversation about what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? It's like we ain't scared of God. We God fearing, but we know that God loves us. So it's like we're not scared. It's like the child of a king that you're not afraid to go to the throne and say, yo, I don't like this decision you made. And the king is like, what? You're like, I don't like it. We need to talk about this. That was what tarot was for me. It was me having conversations with God. And people in my family that was not supportive. They told me I was dealing with the devil, and even if they didn't come out and say it, I just felt it in the air. I felt the vibration. It was not cool with them, but I didn't give a shit because they did not understand the pain that I was in. They did not understand that the Bible did not have not one damn answer for what I was dealing with, because I needed to know what was going to happen next. I needed to know who I could trust, because when your twin is the person that you trust the most in the world, the person who's known you the longest, knows all your secrets, knows all your triggers, and then they're the ones who cause you that deepest pain, it's like your brain snaps. And I feel like that's what happened with Forrest. So that's how a lot of us got, I feel like, into this spiritual journey, into tarot cards, because we just needed to know what was going to happen. And if you look at the movie, remember how Forrest said he didn't know how to explain it. He just said, I just felt like running. And that's how it is with the tarot deck. You just pick it up. I just felt like shuffling. That's how I felt. I just felt like flipping some cards, man. Just leave me alone. And so people recognized that in him. Maybe they didn't have the words to articulate it, but they started following him. And that's what happened with me. I was doing these readings and things like that strictly for myself, strictly me working out my shit. It was for purely selfish motives. It was not for the collective. Although it may have benefited the collective, it was for my own personal healing. And I feel like that's what it is with a lot of us. We've started these YouTube channels, or we started these blogs, or we put up these Instagram posts, or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, we're trying to work out our own shit. And we say, hey, if it resonates with you, then it resonates with you. Meaning, if you working through the same type of shit, then follow me over here, because we can work it out together. And neither of us have to feel alone. So Forrest all of a sudden had all these people following him. And he's like, I don't know what the hell y'all following me for, because I'm just running. And then, like, he ran for 3 years, which is a divine number. When he ran for 3 years, back and forth, right? And so the thing about his running, it was just very therapeutic, and it was very repetitive. That's the way it is with tarot. Like I said, how you just need to know what's going to happen. Forrest knew exactly what was going to happen every day. I'm going to eat, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to run. I'm going to piss, I'm going to shit, I'm going to run. That's it. I'm not going to deal with business. I'm not going to deal with Jenny. I'm not going to deal with any damn surprises. I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to run. And that's it. He turned his life into the most boring, predictable routine that he could possibly do, that was an external indicator of his internal healing. And it was like his external strength was helping him grow this internal strength. And so he just ran. And then, unbeknownst to him, he healed. He didn't know that it was gonna happen. And I feel like that's what's going on with us, with the Twin Flame Collective or the tarot community or whatever. There is a graduating class right now. You see all these readers suddenly saying they're leaving tarot. And some of them, they put it on religion. They say, well, God told me not to do it anymore. Whatever your reason is, at the end of the day, the truth is that you healed and you don't need it anymore. So that's fine to say. I don't think you have to disparage tarot as a whole, or disparage the people that still do it, because you know why you did it. You did it to heal. You did it because you were obsessed over something or someone, and you just needed to know what was going to happen until you healed, until you were able to once again face the unknown and put the deck down and say, well, you know what, now I'm okay to just let life happen, because I don't need to know every single thing anymore. I don't need to control every single thing anymore. And my heart space is healed to enough to where I can take whatever's going to come towards me, and I don't have to predict that shit no more. So that's what happened with Forrest. He said when he decided to stop running, he said, Mama always said, before you face the future, you have to put the past behind you. And he said, and I think that's what my running had been about. So he finally, whatever it was with Jenny, why she did or did not want him, he had finally made peace, just like Lieutenant Dan, who made his peace with God. He made peace with it, and he was ready to go back into his life because his heart had healed. The crazy thing too is a lot of us, we gain notoriety unexpectedly while we're on this healing journey, and our twin sees that, and they kind of feel a little bit proud, even if we don't talk to them, because they know that we would not be doing the things that we're doing if they had not broken us in the way that we did. And if you look at the movie, Jenny collected clippings of Forrest the whole time he was on his journey, the whole time he was running. So when he was, in the newspapers and stuff and getting famous, she collected every bit of that because she loved him and she was proud of him. Now, at the same time, it might have been a little bit of a thorn in her heart to where it's like she broke this man and now she has to hear and see his name everywhere. Forrest, the great Forrest Gump is running across country. Forrest Gump is the champion. He's wise. She has to hear people. She has to hear his name in the streets. Is what I'm saying. And every time she did, I'm sure it made her feel like a little bit of, on one hand, pride, but on the other hand, this like twinge of guilt because she knows how their last interaction went. So if you out here doing a damn thing, because your twin has sent you on this journey, don't think your twin don't know about it. Like, don't think your name is not somehow miraculously dropped into conversation with other people and your twin has to constantly hear how well you're doing. And don't think that he doesn't feel, or she, whoever, doesn't feel a little bit proud of you, but a little bit mad at themselves at the same time. It's a double-edged sword. So what I want to say though about tarot is, if you feel, if you're in a position where maybe you're doing the cards, or you're like, your pain has put you in a space of being kind of like a spiritual leader for other people, once you've done your healing and you feel like it's time for you to go back home, whatever that means for you, whatever your Greenbow, Alabama is, make sure you follow that call. Because, like, don't be disingenuous. Don't be out here still leading people if your heart's not in it anymore, because that, no one needs that. No one needs that. The reason why people followed Forrest is because he was running from the heart. Once he realized he was running from the legs, he stopped. He turned around. So some of us might have to go back, and go back through the very crowd of people that are following us. And the one guy was like, well, what are we supposed to do now? Hopefully your spiritual journey has worked all that people pleasing bullshit up out of you, to where if someone says, oh, you wasn't real, or damn, now I don't even know who to follow, or whatever, don't let that make you stay where your heart is no longer in it. So the fuck what if you have to disappoint whoever because you no longer want to read cards, or you no longer want to do YouTube, or whatever it is that you don't want to do anymore, because you don't need to do it anymore, because you've healed. If no one else gives you permission, I'm giving you permission to quit, turn around, go back, and do whatever it is that you feel called in your heart to do. Because ultimately, this is a walk with the Most High, and that's what our twin flame journey is. It's our walk towards our own divinity. And you cannot be disingenuous with that. So do whatever you do while it's genuine. When it's no longer genuine, give yourself permission to change. That's what life is about. And it gets difficult. Like, the more people that follow you and depend on you and look up to you and expect you to keep doing what you've been doing, it's like the devil card. You become chained to that existence. But you always have permission to set yourself free and do something different. And you don't need anybody to follow you. It was never about the people in the first place. Okay? Remember that. So, yeah, Forrest put his tarot deck down, okay, in the analogy, and he turned around and he went back home to Greenbow. And I also want to say, if you think about the end of the movie, when you've healed and you've decided that it's time for you to move on and do something different, God has something so wonderful waiting on you. Forrest had no idea that he had a little Forrest. You know what I mean? If he had kept running, Jenny couldn't have told him that. And he had to go back home, marry Jenny, because she didn't even have that much time left. So whatever time they had left was very precious. Imagine if he had kept running, he would have been squandering that time that he could have spent with Jenny, because she finally came around and was ready to, allow him to love her, which was the culmination of her journey, which was to allow somebody to love her and be sweet to her and care for her and, have a family, which is something that she never had. Jenny died young, but baby, when I tell you, Jenny died happy. And that's a beautiful thing, and she deserved that, a sweet baby. She really did. So your story, the end of your story is not yet written. And just don't get so caught up in doing what you feel like you're supposed to do for the collective or whoever the fuck, that you don't allow God to give you the gift at the end of all of this difficulty and hardship. Forrest got what he wanted his entire life. He got his Jenny, he got his son. And then, you know, Jenny passed away. I'm sure Forrest will not be a widow forever. He's a attractive, um, loving man, a good father, a millionaire. You know what I mean? He's got a good heart. There's got to be somebody else that's gonna come and help Forrest raise little Forrest. You know, after they do their healing. So, I just want to say, there's more to our stories, man. And I don't know. It's just for me personally. There is. I mean, I still pull cards, but there is a part of me that's kind of a little bit over it, you know. And I got a whole tarot academy. Like, what type of shit is that to say? But it is what it is. I'm just being called like back to my roots more. And I don't feel the need to know what's gonna happen every day. I don't feel the need to pull cards on every single person because I have discernment now, where I can just kind of see some bullshit a mile away. It's like it's kind of thing. It's like, well, now I don't need a tarot card to see that, you know, because I'm not as naive as I used to be, which is a good thing. It's a blessing. There's certain things in your life. You know how they say things are for a reason or a season or a lifetime. There's certain things that come into your life to make you stronger, but once you're stronger, they become a crutch. So yeah. I think that's, like Forrest Gump says, that's all I have to say about that. Thank y'all for listening. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet, please subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to put some information below for my website and for my Cash App if you want to shoot me a donation, whatever it is. I love to be blessed. It feels amazing. And I thank you and I appreciate y'all. Have a great day.